Welcome, everyone, to the Trust the Plan podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Jim.
Jim, the election is coming up soon.
It is.
I only bring that up because I found out that in Plymouth, they have early voting.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be Saturday and Sunday before, we're recording on the 22nd. So today's Tuesday. Mm-hmm. It's this weekend. So,
okay.
So I think that this will be posted after. Mm-hmm. But there are other ways. So like I go to the cultural center, the ice rink in downtown, on Farmer.
Right.
That's going to be open all day on Saturday and Sunday for early voting. So I just figured, why not get it over with?
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, so rock the vote.
Yeah, I'm excited about the vote coming up too, because it means the end of all these political ads.
Yeah,
you can't even have the TV on without watching back to back commercials.
And all the commercials are lies on both sides. all lies.
It is distorted truths, and yeah, it's bad.
It's unbelievable. Okay, so yeah, rock the vote and vote early and vote often, they say, right?
There you go.
All right, so today we're talking about a tweet that really resonated with me. Okay, so this lady, MJ, says, "It's crazy watching people debate whether they'll split bills 50-50 when they're married or split proportional to income. What happened to two becoming one and married couples pooling their salaries into a shared household income? Is this no longer the norm?" So this one has, 6,000 bookmarks, 100,000 plus likes. And it resonated with me. I liked it and bookmarked it because I thought it would be great for us to talk about here.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. It resonates with me because of, I'd basically say three things. Number one, when I was a kid, I would see my dad and my stepmom having separate bank accounts and separate everything, right? Mm-hmm. And there would be like a sticky note on the refrigerator that says, "Hop owes me $8 for milk and eggs." And I'd be like, what the heck, right?
Yeah.
Like, it just, instinctually, it was
You knew
weird.
It didn't feel right.
It was wrong. It was weird, Like, it just didn't sit right. Mm-hmm. And so that was my gut reaction, right? My instinctual reaction. I never liked it. So then, fast forward like 20 years, I'm a financial advisor, and I'm teaching at the Catholic Church in Dexter at St. Joe's, the marriage encounter class. Mm-hmm. So they have a whole weekend of speakers, and one was like an hour of finance. And so I'm giving the talk to these engaged couples that have their dates set. Okay. Right? They're getting married at our church, and I'm telling them they need to combine their finances. Mm-hmm. And people are like pushing back, especially the lady in charge of the whole program. And
really?
and I couldn't believe it. I was hired as the professional, right? So look, and the third point is we see hundreds of cases, and the people that are splitting their bills and 50-50 or split proportional to their income, it just doesn't work out as well. Mm-hmm. It's anecdotal, I know. I don't have any data to present to you, but I just believe that if you have his and hers versus ours always wins.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would seem to me, that's just how I think as well, right? Two become one. You're on the same team. You're aligned in what you're trying to accomplish, the goals you have. I think keeping it his and hers and mine and yours, it doesn't foster that relationship. It's not, that one thing that you're on the same page about.
So this person replies and says, "My wife and I had separate checking accounts since we were married. Household bills were paid equally. We both were working at good jobs, and we are free to spend money on what we want after that. We haven't had a fight about money in 25 years. Who else can say that?" Well, maybe it's working for Mark here, but I venture to say that if Mark and his wife combined everything and it was ours instead of his and hers, they would be better off. Yeah. So they have good jobs. They seem to be doing well, allegedly, right?
Right.
Everyone always puts their best foot forward on social media. Mm-hmm. But I think if we had a thought experiment, or if we could go back in time and share their two paths, the current path they're on versus if they had everything together, I think that maybe they would do better off if they had everything together.
I wonder if, he's saying things are great, right? Because he can buy what he wants and she can buy what she wants. But I wonder how aligned they are with their financial goals. Like, are they on the same page with retirement? Do they know how they're doing? Have they put away enough money? Do they know if they're on a path to live that retirement that they want to live? Or are they just content because, oh, I can buy whatever I want and nobody gets mad at me?
Right. There's no accountability with each other, right?
Right.
Like, it's a partnership. You have accountability. Like, if one person's spending off the rails, Jim, if you were a saver and your spouse were a spender, and you were putting all the money away and she was blowing it all, and now it's all on you for the retirement. I realize that's an extreme example, but imagine, right? Imagine. And I realize you could have the same setup and just have everything together, but the point is you'd see it and you'd know. Right? We talk to divorced couples, right? They're separated, and it's like, okay, Jim, let's talk about the college goals for the kids. How much is in the 529? And you're like, oh, well, I'm adding $100 a month. Well, Jim, that's not going to be enough. Is your ex putting money into a 529 as well? Well, they say they are.
I think so.
Okay, well, great. Now we don't even know how to plan for it because we don't have the data. We don't know what's going on. It's a nightmare.
Right.
Okay? It really is. Also, we talk to people that come to us that do the 50-50 thing, and let's say the wife is the client of ours, right? And they want to retire. Okay, well, how much is his pension? How much is his social security? I don't know. Well, how much is your social security? She can hand it to us, right? And we can see. Well, how much are the household expenses? I don't know. Right? We just don't know. It's impossible to plan. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
So I'm getting worked up here. It's not just anecdotal evidence that things are not optimized, but they just don't work.
Yeah. The other thing that's interesting is this guy here, we're talking about Mark, right? Like, this works great. Like, we never fight about money. We can spend what we want. You can have, I believe you can have that if you're still working together as a married couple. You still are doing things jointly, right? You can have a budget. You do your expense tracking, like we talk a lot about. And if you can show that consistent surplus at the end of the month, you can spend without guilt. We tell people that all the time. We don't care where you spend your money. We don't care what you spend it on. We just need to know if we're checking all the right boxes to be able to retire with peak confidence.
Nailed it. When I think about when we were newlyweds, I remember we had like the living room set up, and it was like a hodgepodge of furniture from someone gave us this couch and someone else gave us that lazy boy, but we had this this TV, and I really wanted to have one of those center speakers, that like a surround sound system, but we didn't have a center speaker right in front of the TV, and I thought, I really want to go to Best Buy, and this is 20 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Not that people don't go to Best Buy now, but that was
the only place
you walked around. Yeah, it was the only place to go. I really wanted to go and check out these speakers, and I was like, "Hey, Jen, we need the speaker," but I was kind of afraid to ask, right? To feeling each other out a little bit, newlyweds, the money's combined. She's like, "If you want it, then go get it." And I was like, "Oh, maybe I will. I just got permission,"
Right. Yeah.
So it's just a small example where when things are new, like the relationship wasn't new, but we're newly married, right? And what's going to set the precedent? Like, who's going to set the precedent? What's going to be a small enough purchase where it's under the radar versus something we have to talk about,
right?
And maybe people are wired to the point where they don't want to talk about it. They don't want anyone to restrict their spending. Maybe Mark here is never going to be able to retire because he just spends wildly. And there's no curbs, there's no one in check, there's no one there to hold him accountable.
Right. Yeah, it's obviously looking at this financially is one way, but I think the other way is just from a healthy marriage point of view. Like, if you're like hiding the stuff you buy, like what else are you hiding? And you know what I mean? Like, I think it's worth having that open communication to kind of foster that strong relationship.
For sure. So it is our blanket advice. Blanket advice to combine your household finances, where you track your spending. Everyone can see all the accounts, no hidden accounts, no hidden money. Everything's out there, and you're working together as a team to reach your goals. And if you'd like to learn more about what we do, visit us at peakwm.com. If you're looking for a second opinion, you can book an appointment right online.